continue. No, so everybody ready for the presentation? So before we get started, how about a round of applause for the workers here at the DoubleTree for putting together. Many of us at Paizo are, of course, very interested in how you guys feel about the new venue. I've been hearing lots of positive things. It's nice to be in a room where you can actually put your arms out to the side and not hit the walls. So that is very, very good. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eric Mona. I am the publisher at Paizo Publishing, and I'll be your MC throughout our presentation tonight. Without further ado, to get us really kicked off in style in the traditional PaizoCon way, I'd like to introduce our very, very special guest and host, Lisa Stevens, the CEO of Paizo Publishing.
You know, that picture looks like I had a bad hangover that day. Holy cow, that's the best we could find? Oh, great, good. Hi, I'm Lisa Stevens, CEO of Paizo. Wow, very cool. So, welcome to PaizoCon number 8. You know, I think back at the other PaizoCons, and it seems like yesterday that a bunch of us went to a small little hotel on a Saturday to do a couple panels and run a couple games, and you know, about 35, 40 people there, and we were just blown away by how cool it was, and said, you know, we should do that next year. We should take over that and start running it, and now here we are, you know, 8 years later, and we're at the DoubleTree, and there's a crap ton of you guys here from all over the world. I mean, how far people are willing to travel to come to PaizoCon is just amazing to me. And then the support we get from our partners, third-party publishers, some of our licensees, who send staff here to show you their cool stuff they're working on, and do run panels and games, and just, you know, this thing's become a, you know, it's a little thing. It's, you know, it's a little baby's growing up. So, anyway, I want to thank you all for coming here. Thank Tim Nightingale for dreaming this nonsense up many, many years ago. And, you know, since in the past I've been known to ramble on forever and ever, I'm going to cut this short and turn you back to Eric Mona. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. So that was an uncharacteristically short speech from Lisa. She's got more to say about this business than anybody, and it's all good. So that's what I'm saying. So was that Sunday, Lisa? Sunday, I encourage all of you to check out Auntie Lisa's Story Hour seminar. She knows pretty much where all the bodies are buried, and she's not afraid to tell you. So Lisa is, of course, our fearless leader, but I'd like to take a minute, and every year it turns into more and more minutes, to acknowledge all of the Paizo people who are here today. As I rifle through your names as fast as possible, please raise your hand or stand up so that everyone can kind of see who you are, and maybe give you a little round of applause. And I'm going to start with somebody who has been a major, major part of PaizoCon for the last several years, and of course this year as well, and that is our organized play coordinator, Mike Brock. Where are you at, Mike? It is really amazing to see what's been going on in this room. Last night, we've got crazy, crazy, crazy stuff coming up tomorrow night as well. So all of you who are participants in the Pathfinder Society campaign, thank you. And thanks especially to our venture lieutenants and venture officers here. You guys are our ambassadors all over the world, and we are humbled by the effort that you guys put in on behalf of the campaign. In no particular order, I will continue to name members of the Paizo staff. Up next is our project manager, Jessica Price. Where are you at, Jessica? Thank you. Our wonderful, wonderful art team, starting with the managing art director, Sarah Robinson. Where are you at, Sarah? Senior art director, Andrew Vallis is here. Art director, Sonia Morris. And graphic designer, Emily Crowell. These are the guys who make Pathfinder products look absolutely, absolutely amazing. We've also got Paizo staff here who work on the Pathfinder Adventure card game. I'd like to recognize our Adventure card game designer and Adventure Card Guild coordinator, Tanis O'Connor. As well as the lead editor of the Pathfinder Adventure card game, Brian Campbell. Where are you at, Brian? Again, in no particular order, I would like to talk about Paizo's editors, our hardworking editors, starting with the overlord of editorial, editor-in-chief, F. Wesley Schneider. Where are you at, Wes? We also have our executive editor and Pathfinder Tales author, James L. Sutter. We've got senior editors Judy Bauer and Christopher Carey. Where are you guys at? And editors Joe Holmes and Jason Keeley. Editors would be nothing without things to correct, so I'd like to introduce our game design team. Fearless leader, and I shouldn't have given him crap because he gets the microphone here very shortly, Jason Bullman. And his crack design staff of Logan Bonner, Stephen Radney McFarland, and Mark Seifter. Continuing in our creative department, we have our creative director, James Jacobs. Senior developer, Rob McCreary. Developers, John Compton, Adam Daigle, Mark Moreland, and Owen Casey Stevens. And assistant developers, the class of 2015, Crystal Fraser, Amanda Heyman-Coons, and Linda Zayas-Palmer. Those folks work a lot on the words and the pictures and all that stuff, but you guys would never ever see it if it's not for the next group. And that is our awesome warehouse team led by Will Chase. Yeah, for my money, the finest moment in gaming. We also have our shipping manager, Jeff Strand, here, as well as warehouse staff, Mika Hawkins, Heather Payne, and Kevin Underwood. Thanks. Only 650 more names to go. We've got customer service. Where's Sarah Marie Teeter? Sarah Marie. And her amazing staff of customer service representatives, Shariah Kemp, Katina Matheson, and Diego Valdez. All right, Paizo.com. I mean, the thing like the force, it binds us all together. Paizo.com, led by technology manager Court Odekirk. Software developer Gary Teeter. Software developers Christopher Anthony, Winslow Delby, Julie Icarino, Scott Spalding. Scott Spalding. Where are you guys at? We also have our system administrator Lisa Guillet and our software test engineer Eric Keefe. Yeah, bugs, and it's like, how can you tell there's bugs? You spill a beer on it. Our Vice President of Finance, Mr. Chris Self. Our accountant, Ashley Caprelian, the finest green hair in gaming. And our data entry clerk, Scott Kime. Our licensing coordinator, Michael Kenway. Our sales staff, sales director Pierce Waters. And our Sales Associate Cosmo Isley. You've already met Lisa Stevens, our CEO. Our Chief Technical Officer, Vic Wirtz, here as well. Vic also runs the Pathfinder Adventure card game team. And our, you know me, I'm Eric Mona. Yeah, whatever. I'm not exaggerating when I say the most important person at PaizoCon, without whom there would be no PaizoCon. Let's be freaking honest, without whom there would be no Paizo, Mr. Jeffrey Alvarez. Our Chief Operations Officer. So, ladies and gentlemen, the staff of Paizo Incorporated. And I swear to God we'll reveal some new stuff soon, but I'd like to take a moment to recognize many, although not all because their numbers grow all the time, but many of our special guests this year, including our guests of honor, Brandon Hodge and Jason A. Engel. Brandon, Jason, thank you so much for coming. Also here with a brand new novel coming out this weekend from Tor, oh my God, Tor, Dave Gross. Where are you at, Dave? We also have Chris Azaxian, author of Pathfinder Tales novels, Pirate's Promise and Pirate's Honor. Chris, where are you at? Very good. And Benjamin Loomis, who does Sirenscape, the amazing sound boards that right outside registration. Now, other than some of the new art you guys haven't seen, I have to say this next slide has a couple of my favorite images in this entire presentation for a couple of my favorite people. Nick Loeb, Greg Vaughn, Neil Spicer. Holy moly! Thank you, Internet, for those pictures. I'd also like to recognize from my table here in front our special guests from Obsidian Studios, Nathan Davis, Andre Wynn, and Shane DeFriest. Our very special guest from Lone Shark, the lead designer of the Pathfinder Adventure card game, Mr. Mike Selinker. We had a very special guest who was just here yesterday, so he can't hear this, but Curtis Weeb, the author of the Rat Queens comic, was here. That comic is amazing. Everyone in this room will like that comic, I promise. And then some additional guests as well. We've got Wolfgang Bauer, Chad Brown, Ryan Macklin, Jason Nelson, Craig J. Spearing, Raven Mimura, Paul Peterson, Marie Poole, Liz Spain, Gabby Wheatling, Brian Dancy, and Bill Webb. So thank you all. Special guests. If you are a special guest of Paizo and I didn't mention you just now, I still love you, I promise. Here are a handful of the logos of some of the companies that have come here to help support Pathfinder and help to support PaizoCon. So let's get a big round of applause for our partner companies. Thank you all for coming. And at a brisk 12 minutes and 23 seconds into the presentation, it's finally time to start revealing some secrets. To reveal secrets than the master of secrets himself, Mr. Jason Bullman. Jason.
Hi there, everybody. Let me just say, Eric, it kind of hurts that this picture was chosen since we just lost the gauntlet. We'll always have beer. I'll miss you, buddy. Normally this time every year, this is when I come up in front of you and hold up the new book like a Tusken Raider with his staff going. I can't do that this year. We moved PaizoCon up a bit, so the book isn't back from the printer yet, so I can't do that. It makes me very sad, so I'm going to make it up to you guys. I'm going to have 2 brand new core rulebook release announcements at the end of this, so stay tuned. So just something to look forward to. So, as many of you know, we've got a little book coming out called Occult Adventures. I love that cover where we were like, hey Wayne, will you draw Naga fighting a bunch of heroes in a big library with a bunch of cultists? And he just went, yeah. This book's got a lot of great stuff in it. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about bits and pieces of it here going forward. But first, let's take a good hard look at all 6 of those glorious, glorious iconics. Funny you should ask, Eric. I'll be happy to tell you about each and every one of them. We're going to start off with one of my favorites. I love the art for this piece, and the class is just rocking. Let's talk about the kineticist. This great little occult class, well, you know what, before I start talking about the class, let me just give you the 30-second, well, probably more like 2-minute, intro to what Occult Adventures is. This book allows us to kind of explore the secrets within your game, the world beneath the world, the hidden lore, the cult masters that are really guiding everything. This allows us to delve kind of beyond what you see in everyday life and into the mysteries of beyond. And that also allows you to delve into the secrets of the mind and psychic magic. So what I'm about to talk about with these classes, if you didn't participate in the playtest, some of this will be new for you, but many of you probably already have. So I'm going to try and give you a bit about the classes and basics, and for those of you who took part in the playtest, I'm also going to give you a bit of a brief heads up about what changed. So the kineticist here is the master of elements. They get to pick, one of their elemental focus. You can be a pyrokineticist, you can be a telekineticist, you can be an aerokineticist. There's 5 elements to choose from. You get fire, water, earth, air, or ether. What? Heart? No, it's not heart. How many times do I have to make a Lulu Dallas multi-pass joke? I guess that counts as one more. This class is kind of a blaster. You can just throw out the element constantly. For those of you familiar with the 3.5 Warlock, this is kind of our interpretation of that class concept. So if you want to be the character, in this case, a small kid who burns everything to the ground and looks like she really enjoys it, this is the class for you. For those of you who took part in the playtest, we gave the class more skill ranks. And we basically doubled the number of talents that you get. So we added a lot of versatility to this class. We're really looking forward to you guys getting a good look at it. Next up is the medium. The medium is a class that invites spirits into its body. Once again, if you're familiar with 3.5 and you like the binder, this is kind of our interpretation of that concept to some extent. So the medium calls these spirits from beyond and invites them into to come hang out and live within the medium. Now during the playtest we had an awful lot of medium spirits, kind of based off the Hero deck, and we're like, great guys, we're gonna do like 54 of these. And then we had Mark write them. Yeah. Thank you, yeah. He wrote them all, and then we realized they were like 100 pages long or something. It was like 40 or something. It was way too big. And although we were really excited about it, and we're going to try and find a way to get those to you through some other means, we decided to retask it and tie it to kind of 6 iconic concepts, kind of like the spirits of powerful heroes, if you want to interpret them that way. So we named them Archmage, Champion, Hierophant, Trickster, Marshal, and Guardian. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we just went with what we knew, and it works out really great. You're able to skin into your game, and the medium is an awful lot of fun. Next up, the Mesmerist. Have we decided how this guy's related to Lem yet? It's his brother. That's right. Yeah. Welcome. Meet Lem's brother. He's kind of the evil brother. Mesmerists are all about using the power of their stare and mental tricks to kind of play with you. Kind of think about them as kind of an anti-bard. They're also a psychic spellcaster, which I'll get to kind of in a bit here to talk to you a little bit about that. The mesmerist can really look into your eyes and see into you, and in some cases deal damage to you and put hexes on you. The other thing that they're really good at is playing tricks. They set up tricks beforehand, so they're like, oh, I've got a trick coming, so if someone swings at me, all of a sudden mirror image goes off and there's 8 of me. So they really get to play around with things like that. But the big change we made is that the stare now causes pain. It's like, pain, and you fall over. Good stuff. Next up is the occultist. This is the class that I did the primary design work on. The occultist is kind of, thank you. All right. The occultist draws inspiration from things like Hellboy and Harry Dresden. I don't know if you caught that from the piece of art. We're not going to call the skull Bob, I promise. We don't want to get sued. The thing about the occultist is that he takes very high value in objects of both magical and historical significance. So it's not necessarily a powerful magic item necessarily, but it's like, oh, this is the wedding ring of a long dead king. And he takes these objects, which he calls implements, and he channels all of his magic through those. When we did the playtest, he also got mental focus, the power of his mind that he could invest in these objects, and they gave him power based on how much he put in the object. But the problem is, during the playtest, those degraded over time once you spent the power out of them. Yeah, we got rid of that. So now you just get it, and it's awesome. Next up is the Psychic. This is our straightforward 9-level Psychic spellcaster. The cool thing about the Psychic is not only do they get a whole lot of kind of, like a lot of the classic mind spells, which we'll be talking about a little later, like Tower of Iron Will and Aid Insinuation and some of those things that we ported over. They also get a whole host of kind of new cool abilities based on their disciplines, which kind of defines where their power comes from. So whether or not they were born with it, or taught with it, or had a psychic experience that really influenced them, their discipline really kind of defines a lot of their power. Think of it kind of like, to think of an analog, it's kind of like a bloodline. It's where they're getting their stuff from, but it's not necessarily from their blood. Yes, all right. So next up is the Spiritualist. This is the last of our classes. The Spiritualist forms a very close bond with a phantom, the soul of a person that just can't move on. It's not quite a ghost, but it's close. And the only thing that's keeping it from becoming this vile undead is its connection to a living person and the emotion it has for them. So this phantom can live inside their head, right? So it kind of talks to them. So when you're hanging out with a Spiritualist character and they sit there just kind of chatting with themselves, don't worry, that's perfectly normal. But if they want, they can push that phantom further into the world, making it an incorporeal creature, and then even further still, making it a full ectoplasmic creature, giving it more abilities and more powers as it does so. So when it's fully manifested, it can even use its emotions and spread those emotions into others. So that might be driven by hatred or envy or other powerful emotions that it can infect others with, the more it comes into reality. So that's the 6 main classes that are in this book, but of course, it wouldn't be one of our books without a lot of archetypes as well. So each one of those 6 classes gets 4 pages of brand new archetypes. Here's some for the occultist. So what you're seeing here is the battle host, which is a occultist archetype that can make a very strong bond with a weapon. The page right after this is a great one too. That's called the Tome Eater. That's an occultist that eats spellbooks and scrolls. When we were ordering art for it, I almost didn't want to order the character. I wanted to order a picture of Ezrin crying with his spellbook with a big bite. Just because that's hilarious. But we have archetypes for other characters too. For example, the Cavalier gets an archetype that allows them to summon a kind of a phantom horse. Kind of makes them more similar to a Spiritualist. So, that would make them a Ghost Rider, right? Oh yeah, I went there. All right. So, of course, there's archetypes for a lot of the classes in the game. Not every class in the game gets archetypes, but most of the ones that are appropriate get plenty of new toys to play with. Let's see here. So, the book also contains a healthy chapter on feats. There are obviously a lot of the extra feats that you're used to seeing, like they give you extra points or extra abilities out of your class. Obviously, those are in here. There's also stare feats that allow the mesmerists to do better things with their stare, like put double whammies on people and stuff like that. But there's also a feat called Psychic Sensitivity that kind of allows PCs of any class to play with some of the psychic rules that are presented later on in the book. And I'll get to chat about a couple of those here in a minute. Not to mention, there's just some other feats that are kind of fun in here. There's like the Lucid Dreamer feat that lets you be a dreamer that knows that they're dreaming and can control stuff. But there's also, one of my favorite is just Elongated Cranium. I don't know how that's a feat, but you spend a great deal of time putting metal bands on your head until it's So, yeah, do that to your character. Freak everybody out. Of course, no book about psychic magic would be complete without a healthy spells chapter. We're treating psychic magic just like we treat arcane and divine magic in this book. There's no PowerPoints, there's no pools, we're not touching the 3-5 system. We like the 3-5 system, we like what the Dreamscare Press people are doing with it. We decided to go a different way. So the psychic spells in our book, you will see, well, you may not be able to see on there, but a lot of the spells have either emotional or mental components instead of other spell components. And what these do is they make it so that the spellcaster either has to have clear emotions or a clear mind to manifest the spell. They don't need to wave, I mean, you're a psychic spellcaster, you don't have to wave your arms around. I mean, come on, you're using your brain to kill people. In addition to that, there's a lot of really cool spells in here. There's a spell that does like the scanners thing that makes someone's head explode. We probably should have put in a lower level spell that puts up like a plastic bubble in front of you first. You maybe cast that in, that way you don't get all messy. But there's also a lot of really fun stuff. The Thought Shield, Tower of Iron Will, Ego Whip, and Insinuation, those all got put in here. And they also are a new kind of spell that can be undercast. And if you're a spontaneous spellcaster, like the psychic casters all are, you can cast the lower level versions as long as you know the higher level versions. So it gives those classes more versatility. But also we added, spells that just give you telepathy. Why was that never in the game? How did we miss that one until now? But, here's a way you can do it. Object possession, psychic surgery, a really awesome 9th level spell called Mind Swap that's just like, yeah, I live in your body now. That's permanent. You don't get your body back. And I'm gonna do terrible things with it too. Probably. I don't know, it's 9th level. Sure. At 9th level, we're just kind of like, meh, whatever. All right, but in addition to spells, there's a lot of rules in this book that allow you to incorporate the occult into your game. I picked this as the opening spread. I know it doesn't have any rules on it, but I just absolutely love the piece of art. The occult rules chapter is filled with a lot of great stuff, and I'm just going to kind of ramble some of it off. It's got occult skill uses, and remember how I mentioned psychic sensitivity was a feat? If you have that feat, or you are a psychic spellcaster, you get all these extra uses for some of your skills, like faith healing, hypnotism, psychometry, phrenology, like measuring people's heads. So if you take that feat with the elongated skull and someone measures your head, then they get confused. No, I don't know what goes on. There's also an entire section on auras and reading the auras of people in front of you. So if you're dealing with a merchant and he has an oily green aura, that means he's greedy and trying to rip you off, and you should probably stab him. You're an adventurer, you know that's what you're doing. There's also an entire section on chakras, kind of opening up the pools of energy that live in your key-using character. We also have some feats that allow you to access that stuff too, even if you're not a key-using character, that allow you to kind of get used to this. We really kind of wanted to make sure that this book was great for the characters that it makes sense for, but open to the characters that want to play with it as well. There's a bit on psychic duels and fighting, mind versus mind in terrifying mindscapes. There's reworked rules for possession, because Magic Jar is awesome, but it's also really clunky and long. So we kind of reworked those rules and gave you some new spells to go with it, giving you a simpler way to kind of take people over and make them dance. No one used that on me right now. There's also an entire section on occult rituals, kind of lengthy spells with really powerful effects. Next up, there's a chapter on running an occult game. This gives you a whole bunch of advice on how to run the game and how to layer mysteries into your game and put cults within cults, cults within cults, secrets within secrets. We just got to the bottom of this cult. Now there's another cult. It's really specific. Like, the second cult can't be that big. It's really small. Laying the groundwork for deeper mysteries and strange forces to play against your characters. There's GM rules for new and powerful haunts that you can see kind of bits of here that everybody at the table can interact with. Up until this point, haunts have kind of been the thing that shows up and you're like, cleric, go get it. The rest of us are going to go get a sandwich. Now the cleric can be like, no, I need your help. You can be like, no, my sandwich. It had mail. I don't know, haunts make it go bad? All right, I beat that horse to death. All right, so there's also bits in here on ley lines and loci spirits, on mindscapes. They're kind of terrain created by mines that two mines can fight in, and you can like create things and throw them at each other. It's really crazy. We actually, I think, had to tone that down a bit. After a while there, you could just like invent artifacts. Because you couldn't die, so it was just like, whatever, vorpal sphere of annihilation. That's a thing, right? I just invented it. There's also a look at the esoteric planes, including the astral, the ethereal. We kind of define the relationship between all of them. But we also then take a good look at the dimension of dreams and the Akashic Record and other places that have a more occult nature to them. So the book also contains a section on occult gear. And remember how I mentioned phrenology before? If you see over here on the lower right, you can get your phrenologist kit, which comes with those calipers you need, because you can't just go in the player's handbook and find those. Those are not in there. But there's a lot of great stuff in this book. Kits for various characters, dowsing rods, hypnotist locket, lots of kind of fun stuff. There's the fraudulent mediums kit. That's one of my favorites. When you want to pretend to be a medium, because you're really not. But in addition to ordinary gear, there's also cool magic items as well, including some, I was going to show just some ordinary magic items, but I said screw that and skip straight to artifacts. Because I really wanted to show off the Maniac hand, which is like straight out of Evil Dead. If you cut off your hand, you can put another hand on, and if you don't kill your friends, it'll kill you. But there's also a monkey's paw. Those are great. You should give those out to your players immediately. Nothing's ever going to go wrong with one of those. It's going to be great. Wish all you want. So that kind of wraps up a bunch of the stuff in Occult Ventures. There's a lot more in this book. There's lots of stuff for every character. There's lots of stuff for every game. And I want to give you guys just one more reason. I don't know if you guys remember the kineticist right at the beginning. For the classes, some of these classes get a little long. We were looking for a solution to break it up because sometimes it can be a lot of text. So we decided to start illustrating some of their gear and throw that in the chapter because some of it looks really cool. This is why you should buy the book. Look at him. Oh, he's adorable. All right. So that's Occult Adventures. When is he available? I don't know. Ask Mike Kenway. He's our licensing guy. I just put you on the hook. All right. So, in addition, coming out fall of this year, I know it'll be a shock to many of you. Bestiary 5. More than 300 new monsters, psychic and mythic content. We couldn't get the psychic monsters into the book, they wouldn't fit. There was just too much awesome occult stuff to pack in that book. And I think I'm going to show you some stuff that after 4 bestiaries, we still have a lot of great stuff to show you. For example, dream dragons. Can't go wrong with them. Don't like those? How about flying monkeys? The Hisingos. I knew I could get you with flying monkeys. Would prefer Fae with a punny twist? How about the Fastichi, who will listen into you with his many ears? That was rather corny, you're right. Thanks, Mona. I don't know who it was, but I'll take it. You saved that one. I was just gonna explain the joke until it got funny, because they're ears of corn. Yeah. Tired of being cutesy with your players and instead would like to drop a walking village on them? How about the Wood Colossus? For when your players think they're just too good. We can take whatever you got. Really? Now, I want to show you guys just one little bit here. And like I said, yeah, you can live in it, sure. Although, like a transformer, if it changes shape while you're in it, I don't know what happens. I think just ooze, like meat paste comes out. I don't know. So, like I said, this book also has some kind of some psychic content, some kind of far out content. And I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. The gray alien and the Anunnaki make an appearance in this book, so that's all very exciting. So that's just a tiny, tiny fraction of the metric ton of awesome that is crammed into Bestiary 5. But I'm not quite done yet. I have one more book to show you. I remember that from last year. I stood here going, what's going on? Nothing's happening. Why is it? Coming in spring 2016, the early quarter hardcover core rulebook release will be Ultimate Intrigue. This book is our chance to kind of add to the Ultimate series in a way that looks at classes that are primarily skill-based. That really get a lot of their oomph out of skills and what skills can do. So classes like the Alchemist, the Bard, Druid, Hunter, Inquisitor, Investigator, etc. It's going to have a complete system for influence in it, gathering that from towns and organizations within your communities. It's going to have rules for social and verbal dueling. I can't tell you how much I'm excited about this system. Like, you can take different tacks at it. Like, well, I'm going to make fun of him versus I'm just going to, insult his character, or I'm going to try and fight him with logic, and we're gonna have fun with it. There's also going to be feats, spells that can be used in social settings. This is going to be a lot of books with some social systems in it. And of course, it wouldn't be an Ultimate book without a class. There has to be one, right? I mean, all the Ultimate books have the Magus, the Gunslinger. So Ultimate Intrigue is going to have a class in it as well. And this class is almost ready for playtest. We're going to be releasing it here in just a few weeks. That class is the Vigilante. Do you want to play a character who's lawful neutral by day and chaotic neutral by night? No, seriously, you only detect as one or the other when you're in your different forms. This class basically allows you to play the confident nobleman who's well respected around town. Later on that night, you take off those clothes, you put on your black armor with cape, you fly around the city and punish those who have wronged you. Having dead parents is not a requirement, but I think we'll probably make it a fee. And that about
Jason Bowman, Jesus. Good job, buddy. So I think there are a few things that it seems like every year at PaizoCon are inevitable. Jason's going to use a lot of puns in his presentation. Thirsty's going to shut down the bar every night. And I'm going to forget to acknowledge a couple people in the acknowledgement thing. So I'd like to have a couple of Paizo staff members who I neglected to mention stand up, and they are real heroes. Some of my favorite Paizo employees, in fact. Chris Lamberts and Liz Quartz, our community team. Where are you guys? Just to be sure, did I forget anybody else? Awesome. Okay, so moving on, I would like to talk a little bit about Pathfinder Society. And actually, I wouldn't like to talk a little bit about Pathfinder Society. I would like to invite John Compton up to talk a little bit about Pathfinder Society. John, where are you at?
Pathfinder Society continues to amaze me. We continue to grow every year. I was talking with Mike Brock earlier today and getting a couple of numbers, and every time I ask for this trivia, it continues to amaze me. This time last year, or since this time last year, we've gained 120 different regional coordinators, including venture lieutenants and venture captains. We are well in excess of 70,000 active participants. We are now active in 39 different countries and 48 states. So if you know anybody in Wyoming or Hawaii, tell them to email Mike Brock, okay? But just as we grow outside of Seattle, we also continue to bring more people onto the team. And a couple of months ago, it was definitely my pleasure and to an extent my relief that we also brought on Linda Zayas-Palmer, who's been helping me out a great deal. And considering that some of her first scenarios developed are also among the highest rated for Season 6, I think this bodes very well for Season 7 as well. But the Society continues to grow in-world as well as out, and we're continuing to revisit several different threads, some of those that many of you have been asking for a long, long time. Such as, archaeological excavations in Wongi Expanse that we haven't seen since the beginning of Season 2, or maybe there's that area of the precipice where we found somebody in an abandoned schoolyard. These sorts of things we're definitely looking at and we're getting back to. But we're also looking to forge some new stories. Just as we've scattered to the four winds, we've now reunited the Sky Key, and at Gen Con 2015, we're going to be turning that sucker on and seeing what happens. And it's always really fun to pitch some of these specials, and oftentimes it'll be, oh yeah, this seems really exciting. But 7-00 at Gen Con, that was one that got the whole room just going, ooh, let's bring some more people in this meeting. We want to see what their faces look like. Of course, a successful society like this attracts some really dangerous enemies. And you just saw all the occult adventure stuff going on. So we're going to be delving into some of that, especially toward the beginning of the season. I have several different turnovers and milestones that I'm going to be looking at this next week that are really exciting, taking us to places that we've never really been to properly, like Katapesh, the thing that I really fell in love with when I first started looking into Galarian. But also we're going to be going back to an old classic. Somebody that I think we can all agree on is actually really fun to kick the tar out of. Oh, well, Torch is coming. But the Aspis Consortium. And this year is the Year of the Serpent. Some of you, when we first started talking about Season 7, we announced those titles, you're like, oh man, Siege of Serpent, Serpent's Rise, does that mean we're going to do Serpent Folk or Aspis Consortium? And, I don't know, could be both. I'm okay with that. But the Aspis Consortium, I bet a lot of you are used to seeing them, especially in Pathfinder Society Organized Play. A couple of mooks show up, they have like a rogue level, they have both their arms broken and a 10 dexterity or something like that. And then they're kind of waving a bronze badge and hoping that you just please go away. This year, we're looking to give them a little bit of a makeover. These are the Aspis Consortium agents that we've always kind of suspected were hanging out in the shadows. And we've always kind of been afraid of what would happen when they actually come out and play. And we're letting them loose in Season 7. And I think we're going to see a whole lot more of that tomorrow night when you, in fact, get to play as Aspis Consortium agents. We're continuing all that with all the other specials coming up at Gen Con. I already mentioned the Sky Key Solution, and then we also have one that a lot of people have been talking about, True Dragons of Absalom, where finally, after all these years, you can play a damn kobold. That's Season 7, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. This year in Pathfinder Society has been really, really exciting, not just for all the great developments with the role-playing game, but also because we were able to launch a Pathfinder Society Adventure Card Guild. And here to talk a little bit about that is our in-staff coordinator of the Pathfinder Society Adventure Card Guild, Tanis O'Connor.
About today. We've just wrapped up with the conclusion of the Skull and Shackles Adventure Path, the season of the Shackles, which was our inaugural Adventure Card Guild season. Thank you to everyone who participated and gave us most excellent feedback that we've incorporated into the new season that's launching here this weekend at PaizoCon, Season of the Righteous, based on the Wrath of the Righteous Adventure Path. Just as before, will be releasing scenarios weekly to stores through their own retail accounts, or to venture captains and venture lieutenants who are out there doing the good work and getting games going. We're continuing to support them as well with the base sets and the products that they need to get the games into the stores. Wrath of the Righteous, as Mike is I'm sure going to tell you, is something that we always talk about as going to 11. Everything's bigger and badder and nastier and a little more terrifying than you're used to, and that's certainly going to be the case in the Season of the Righteous as well. We're working on a storyline that's parallel to and slightly before the story events of the Wrath of the Righteous adventure path. And we have a few folks that some of you may be familiar with from our Pathfinder Tales fiction line. A fellow named Varian and a fellow named Radovan. They'll be making an appearance later on in the season, and author Dave Gross is going to help us out with that. Thank you so much, Dave. We're really excited about what we're working on. So look for Season of the Righteous in a store near you, and if it's not in a store near you, then maybe think about putting it in a store near you. Okay, that worked. Oh, I was on the wrong slide. My bad. You saw my awesome hat, at least. All right. All those things that you splendiferous. Thank you very much. All those things I just said. Now let's talk about the products that support the Adventure Card Guild line and any other home play that you want to do. The class decks. All right, awesome. These are a product that Paizo makes in-house, i.e. me. And we have the first 7 out. They came out starting at Gen Con last year. Your basic 7 iconics: Bard, Cleric, Fighter, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, and Wizard. They did pretty well, so we are happy to announce that the Wave 2 of the class decks is launching in August this year, starting with the Paladin. So you'll get your iconic Sela and a couple of other awesome characters, as you can see from the packaging here. We also have a Monk deck and a Druid deck scheduled for September and October. So those of you who've been raring for that new version of Sajin, you're going to get your wish. And this time you'll get to find out what he does with that weird sword that he's got at his side. We've got a bunch of new Monk weapons in that deck that I think you guys are going to really like. We've moved from 4 characters in a deck to 3 characters in a deck, so that every card in the deck is probably something you're going to want to think about having, as opposed to before where sometimes you didn't always have something you wanted. This time you're pretty much going to want it all. And after those launch, we've got a few more in store. Liz Spain, who is part of the Lone Shark team, is testing the Alchemist class deck here at the show this weekend. The Barbarian is also slated for launch November, December this year. In fact, we're going to a monthly release schedule for those of you who cannot get enough class deck in your life. And starting next month, we're going to launch a subscription for that on the website. So you can sign in, get your 20% off, and get your class deck crack delivered to your house every month. At least we certainly hope you will. That's enough for me. I think we'll go on to the man behind the game, Mr. Mike Selinger.
The cool thing is I knew all that stuff and it still sounded really awesome to me. We've been now doing this for a while. We've had a couple of really cool adventure paths come out with Rise of the Runelords and Skull and Shackles, and this is hardly news to anyone that this is debuting here and is kind of awesome. Wrath of the Righteous is the adventure path I wanted to do when I walked in the door, because I wanted to see what happened when I played a lot of Diablo in my life, and I just really wanted to do this. Go to the Abyss and kill everything we found. And so this is the Mythic adventure. There's your characters go, as Tana said, up to 11. We have sort of a new set of mechanics where we have things like cohorts, which are helpful people that stick with you, and if you get them killed, they don't come back ever. We have abyssal locations that flip around and all sorts of crazy nonsense in this game. Pretty much anything that you really don't want to have happen to you will happen in this game, and some good things too. And one particularly exciting thing is that for the base set scenarios, we got access to an amazing resource, which was the Season of the Demon path that was created for the Pathfinder Society, and we incorporated a great deal of those adventures into the game. It was like the first time that we could do something like that. And so those of you who wrote them and tested them, thank you so much for doing that. They're really fantastic and they come out great in this game. There's a couple new things that you haven't seen yet. This will be the first time you get to fight with armies in this game. Taking control of an army is pretty exciting in this, and there's some more surprises coming up. I don't want to ruin them for you. They'll be coming out, and you'll be pretty excited, I hope. One other thing, we have a character available for Free RPG Day. Her name is Eki. Has anybody met her before? Yeah. She is just as slippery in this game as she is in the Pathfinder Society. She's super fun. I think she will be a rival for Ranzak's attention, and it should be a lot of fun. So our second goblin is going to be great. We have much more coming out from Ultra Pro. They've done such great things with our playmats and deck predictors and stuff. The new ones are just so sharp. If you get a chance to go by Olympic One and check them out, they're just incredibly gorgeous. We have so that's like I said, that's Wrath of the Righteous. It's pretty good. And once we got done with it, we thought, you know what would be the best thing to follow that? A 3-month break. we wanted to take a little bit of time afterwards because, and actually when we announced that was going to be the case, people got really excited. Like we might actually give them a chance to finish an adventure path before we give them another one. I know. Tell the RPG team guys, it's actually a pretty good idea. So we did, and that gave us more time to figure out what the next one would be, and I think we chose a pretty good choice. Let's go find some mummies. So, I want to show, just take a look at this picture for a second here. I mean, that's an undead cat in the corner that Tyler Jacobson. I mean, everything in this thing is so cool. And I didn't want to do this by myself because I wanted to introduce you to one of the designers on the team who's putting together Mummy's Mask. Liz Spain, can you come up here and talk about this a little bit?
So I am really excited about Mummy's Mask. We're doing some special things different about this. So you've been heroes in Wrath of the Righteous and Broom Lords, and we're sick of that. So we're gonna get rich or die trying. Because in Mummy's Mask, you're raiding tombs. I mean, we're not gonna put a gloss on it. We're here to find. Basically dig through the land of Assyrian and find what's valuable and what's powerful. So we're introducing a few new mechanics to support that, including the ability to sell your stuff. Ooh! Yeah, so don't put it in a museum. Get all the artifacts and sell them and upgrade your characters that way. I mean, that's what it's all about, getting the good, sweet loots. But you want to be careful. Osirian has a long and proud history of things, and the Pharasmans get very upset if you destroy the tombs. So, for the first time in the game, we care about how badly you destroy something. If you smash that wall, they will not be happy. The ghosts will not be happy. The mummies will be particularly distressed. And that mummy cat who was your friend may decide not to be your friend anymore. So, characters. The big thing I'm really excited about for this set is we are going above and beyond the 7 iconics, the iconics you know already, including the first ever character who is not one of the major races. She is all brand new for Mummy's Mask, and her thing ties very closely to one of her major themes for this set, is all about the elements. Osirian is very close to the elemental planes, has a long history. It has Jinn, So we have a character who is a sylph. Ooh. Yes, she can summon up winds of knives. It's exciting. And well, we do love our iconics, and what would a good grave robbing be without mystery and spooky things? So we have not one, not two, but 3 Occult Adventures iconics will be featured in this set. Ooh, I'm super excited. And those of you who enjoy the fiction, we have a couple characters from the fiction as well who will be making an appearance. And what am I missing? Oh, I don't know. I'm just so excited.
There are some mummies in it too.
Yes, there are mummies.
And there's one more thing I wanted to say about the things that. Oh, thank you, Liz. Thank you. There's one more thing that Tanis and I have been talking about, and we've debuted here, and I forgot to put it in the notes for Tanis, but I think it's really important, is that we're going to do something brand new for the Pathfinder Adventure card game that we've never even tried before. In fact, we tried it for the first time last night, and we think it turned out pretty well. We're going to make the Pathfinder Adventure card game competitive. Yeah, we're going to create the concept, just like you see in a lot of games, of the open. That is your team against my team. Maybe some of you will survive. We practiced for the first time of just building the meanest thing we could possibly build, and there were some casualties. I don't feel bad about it. But so that's going to debut at Gen Con. It's pretty fun, and I hope you all get a chance to try it. So anyway, that's what's going on with the Pathfinder Adventure card game, except for one other thing, which our next speakers, I'm sure, will tell you about, and it's kind of awesome too. All right?
Thanks to Mike, Tanis, and Liz, and the entire Lone Shark team for all the hard work they put in making the Pathfinder Adventure card game as awesome as it can possibly be. One way the Pathfinder Adventure card game could be awesomer is to make it into something you can play on your tablet. Have you guys... tablets. Have you guys seen the Obsidian booth in the store? It is so rad. Those screens are amazing. I would like to introduce some of the team from Obsidian. We have Shane DeFriest and Nathan Davis. They're going to come on up and tell us a little bit about what's going on with the game.
First of all, thanks to everyone at Paizo, all our friends, some of whom we've known for many, many years, for having us here this weekend. It's always awesome to come out and do these types of things with your partners, friends, and fans. First of all, we're huge Pathfinder fans. We play the game a lot, and we really love it. So this is the type of thing that we love a lot. So the questions we get asked before, and Nathan's going to talk a little about the card game, is kind of what else are we doing? Unfortunately, we don't have anything else to announce about Pathfinder. We'd like to, but we can't. We're very excited about the idea of flying monkeys in the franchise, though. We've had a pretty busy year, so we've got 4 projects in development. Our Blood Fraternity game came out. Thank you. But one of the things we are very excited on, one of our teams is working on the digital version of the Pathfinder Adventure card game, which Nathan, who's our producer, is going to tell you a little bit about. Thanks.
Let's see. So yeah, we are of course working on the digital version of the Pathfinder Adventure card game for tablets. That's iPads and Android tablets. We are looking to expand into other platforms, but that is another time. So we want to get it to as many people as possible because we want to get as many people playing the game as we possibly can. So just to let you know, like the focus of what we've been doing with the game is not just doing a card-to-card copy of the card game into a digital form. We've made it into something more special, something that emphasizes the adventure part of the card game. We have reactive dialogues that you can get to know the iconic characters that you've got to know over the years and see how they react when they go through the Rise of the Rune Lords campaign. We have enhanced location art We have maps that you can navigate, so when you go to Thistletop, you actually go to Thistletop. And when you go to Magnamar, you can actually travel around and see where all the things are. And there's, of course, visual effects and audio that just really enhance the experience. I'm really happy with what my team has done to make this thing look and sound and play really beautifully. We're starting with Rise of the Rune Lords, and we plan to follow the releases of the card game. And we are also planning to release content that is not available in the physical version of the game. We'll be announcing more about that later. But on the list of other things that are TBD are the release date, whether it'll go, which additional devices it'll go to, and the price. So I will get that information out to you as soon as I possibly can. But we're still working on that because there's a lot of things we can do. We are big fans of both the RPG and the card game. I force my team to play, not force, they love it. I force my team to play the game a couple times a week, and we're most of the way through Skull and Shackles, and it's a good time. So ransack all the way. And we're excited to be working on it, yeah, definitely stop tomorrow afternoon, stop by for a hands-on demo. That's right, you can come by, and we can give you an iPad. And you can play around with it and maybe not die. We've had a lot of deaths. But it's also a learning experience for us because we are in alpha, so it's a unique chance that you guys get that literally no one else gets to come and actually play the game. And that's my deal. So thank you very much.
Thanks to Nathan and to Shane and to Andre and to the entire Obsidian team. We are beyond excited about this game at Paizo, and if you get a chance to come and check it out, I think you'll be very, very excited about it too. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the additional releases that we have coming up in 2015 and beyond, not just in the Pathfinder RPG line, which Jason did a really good job of going over, but in some of our other lines as well. And this part of the presentation will also include some things that you've never heard before. Kicking off very shortly is the Hell's Rebels Adventure Path. Hell's Rebels is something that we have been working on for a great deal of time. Cheliax, the empire that is in thrall of devils, is one of the fans' favorite kingdoms in the Pathfinder realm. It is it's a little bit evil, a little bit on the evil side. But in Hell's Rebels, you play good guys, right? You are fighting against the evil. This is a campaign in which you are trying to work up a rebellion in the city of Kintargo and free it from the clutches of the diabolical House of Thrune and their evil, diabolical underlings who are all twisting mustaches and enslaving people and doing horrible things that must be stopped. Like this guy with the evil shield, you know that's an evil because it has a star on it. One of the absolute coolest things that I think about Hell's Rebels, and it's amazing to me that this is true. Actually, let me start with an anecdote. I remember back in late 2006, early 2007, when the Paizo staff started working on the Pathfinder Adventure Path. We had just kind of received the news that our friends over at Wizards of the Coast decided not to renew the license for Dragon and Dungeon magazine. We were sort of trying to figure out what we were going to do next. And one of the things that was very, very popular with you guys and with the readers of Dungeon in particular were the adventure paths. We'd done Shackle City and Age of Worms and Savage Tide. And we knew that not only did we have more stories to tell, but that the audience wanted those things to do as well. But that period of time for Paizo was really, I think scary is probably a pretty good word for it. We weren't 100% sure that the customers were going to come along with us. And so we had, as many of you probably remember, you could convert the credit that you had for your subscriptions to the magazines into Pathfinder. We really had hoped that people would do that. And I remember I came into Lisa's office at some point and said, okay, so here's the plan, here's what we want to do, but James and I are a little bit concerned because if for whatever reason this doesn't work, if we don't publish all 6 volumes of Rise of the Rune Lords, we will be hounded until the ends of our lives. You think people complaining about no Age of Worms hardcover is bad? Not finishing Rise of the Rune Lords is going to be horrible. Lisa, will you promise us that we can at least publish 6 volumes of the Adventure Path? And she dutifully said, yes, absolutely, that would be great. Well, during Hell's Rebels, we're going to be publishing Pathfinder number frigging 100, right? Oh my god. So, oh, holy god, Pathfinder number 100. And one of my favorite thing about Pathfinder 100, and there's a bunch to love, but my favorite thing about Pathfinder 100 is you see it right there. That woman on the right, done by Wayne Reynolds, is James Jacobs' personal player character. That's Shenson, that's like his character, right? James has been a part of every single volume of Pathfinder. He was a part of virtually every single Adventure Path volume that's ever been published under any brand. Under D&D and Pathfinder. He is just an absolute rock at Paizo. And so, what better thing to celebrate number 100 than having his own character on the front of Pathfinder? That is so awesome. But the awesome keeps coming. Pathfinder number 100 is going to be extra thick. It's going to be 128 pages instead of 96 pages. And some of those pages are going to include some new fun features, like they dragged me, and I'm writing an article on the god Eridan, kind of revealing a lot of secrets that we've never revealed about that pretty pivotal mystery in the Pathfinder campaign setting. And we're also going to be contacting a lot of the authors from previous Pathfinder Adventure Paths, and all 16 of the previous Adventure Paths that we've done will have a 2-page spread featuring a character who was important to the Adventure Path, but it's going to have full statistics for that character, and ways to use that character as a cohort or to incorporate them into any of the other Pathfinder Adventure Paths as well. So some of your favorite authors will be returning to Pathfinder number 100, some of your favorite characters and Adventure Paths will be coming along for the ride as well, which I think is pretty darn cool. We also are going to have a detachable poster map in Pathfinder, the first time we've ever done a poster map in Pathfinder, and there's going to be some other surprises as well, not least of which being the Adventure Song of Silver, which is written by James Jacobs himself. So, Pathfinder number 100 is definitely going to be one to remember, and that's slated for November of this year. There's been a lot of speculation, I've been hearing the rumors, about what the next Adventure Path is going to be after Hell's Rebels. And we knew we really needed to do something cool, and we needed to do something special to follow up Pathfinder number 100. We knew we needed to do something special to follow up Hell's Rebels. And as I said, just to recap, Hell's Rebels, you're playing the heroes who are fighting against the corruption in the very popular nation of Cheliax. The next Adventure Path is a little bit different. It's going to be called Hell's Vengeance, and you're going to work for that guy. That is Asmodeus, my friends, and in Hell's Vengeance, for the first time ever, you get to be the bad guys. So we are doing a full-on evil adventure path. It's been one of the things that people have been requesting since the very beginning. It's going to be amazing and awesome. Given some of the minds just at Paizo, and quite frankly the writers in this room, I'm a little bit nervous. Pathfinder Adventure Path, the next Adventure Path is going to be Hell's Vengeance. James and Rob are going to be doing a Pathfinder Adventure Path Q&A, I think tomorrow, is that right, James? Tomorrow? Yeah? Yep, tomorrow. So if you want to know a whole bunch of secrets about Hell's Vengeance, about what crazy devils possessed us to do an evil adventure path, James will explain it all with his hands on the Satanic Bible. He won't do that. But it's gonna be super, super awesome. Also super awesome is a hardcover book that's coming out in September of this year. And that is a book that my editorial staff is currently sweating blood over. And that's a tasty, tasty beverage there, blood. And I think you're gonna absolutely love this. We're seeing page layouts coming from the art department. The interior art in this book is phenomenal. Some of you may remember that we did a advanced race guide a few years ago, and that was kind of the RPG side, like here's a bunch of information and rules content for that. The Inner Sea Races book is all about how the different races of Golarion fit into the world of Golarion. So there's tons of cultural detail, there's a lot of historical stuff, and of course there's rules as well to help you get the most out of your characters. I want to show you some of the amazing art that's in this book, and as a way to illustrate some of what's coming up. Here we have some of the human ethnicities in the Inner Sea Races book. We've got a Garundi, a Kelishite, and a Chelaxian There are multiple illustrations of all these ethnicities. I think more information than we've ever done on all of them in terms of their history, their cultural traditions, and how they fit into the campaign. So if you're playing a human, which in the world of Galarian I hope a whole lot of you are, you're going to get a lot out of that. But humans, everyone's a human. Everyone in this room is a human, right? I'm not so sure. Okay, well, for those of you who play non-humans, we also are going to have a lot of information about them as well. And so here we see one of our elves. We have a gnome. That is like one of my favorite gnomes, I think. That guy is rad. He's like, I'll show you green hair. And speaking of green, we have the green-skinned half-orc. She is one tough customer, that is for sure. They also, all of the standard player character races from the core rulebook get tons of cultural details and a lot of stuff about how they fit into the campaign worlds. And then we also have a lot of information about some of the other sort of lesser known races in the world of Galarian. And here we've got 3 of them. We've got the Strix, and we've got, oh look, that's my race I made up. That's the Gorons, the plant people. And that is my favorite rat folk picture ever. He's a Callistocrat from the super popular merchant nation of Druma. Anyone ever heard of that? Anyway, it's my least most Pathfinder creation. Druma. One of the things about this cult is they are really cleanly and they hate physical contact, so they always cover as much of their body as possible with like white gloves and stuff. I just love the idea of a freaking rat who's a germaphobe, so that is pretty amazing. So Intersea Races is coming out in September. The team is hard at work at it, and I am absolutely positive that work is going to pay off. This is one of the best looking books we've done in a long time, and from what I hear from the developers, it's one of the best written that we've done in some time as well. Or it will be by the time we publish it. So, to take a little break from listening to me talk about our stuff, actually that's not true, I'm going to talk about it. Here we go, Sirenscape. Have you guys all had a chance to see Ben over at the Sirenscape booth outside? I'm walking down the hall last night and I hear the most horrendous burp, coming from this booth, and I'm like, wait, that's coming from behind me and the bar's in front of me, and I know Jason's in there, so how did that burp? And it was Ben and his crazy soundboards. Sirenscape is absolutely amazing. Those of you who have had a chance to play in some of the special events that we do that Ben kind of DJs have heard the sounds. One of my absolute favorite things that we've probably ever done at PaizoCon, Ben's doing at that booth right now, which he's doing a new sound set for the Dragon's Demand adventure, and he's actually recording you guys. Like, I have heard some of you guys do the most insane kobold impressions and stuff this weekend. He's got a microphone for you to scream into, probably to burp into. He loves burps. So please come by the Sirenscape booth and do that. Ben's got, Sirenscape's got sound sets for the entire Rise of the Rune Lords campaign. So if you're playing our most, sort of our beginner, not beginner, but the original Pathfinder campaign, you can liven it up with sound sets from Sirenscape. He's also, as I said, working on the Dragon's Demand one, which will feature some of the people in this room. And that'll be out in June. They're introducing a new thing called campaign setups as well, where you're going to be able to kind of mix your own soundboard. So if you want to take a little from column A, the screeching rats from this sound set and the burps from this one, and the clanking chains from this one to make your own soundscapes, you're going to be able to do that, which is great. He's also working on new soundscapes for our iconic characters and for different character classes as well. So if you're a player and you want to, every time you swing your sword, you want it to go or whatever, you can do that, which is awesome. And very shortly, like in the next few months, we are going to be able to offer subscriptions to some of the soundscapes as well on Paizo.com. So keep your eyes on Paizo and keep your ears on Sirenscape. Thank you. I really hope you're applauding for Ben and Sirenscape and not for that thing I wish I'd never said. Okay, so something that we have not really announced that much yet that I am super, super, super excited for is actually sitting on the floor behind me. But let's look at the sketch, or let's look at the photos first. Battle Foam. These guys make the best miniatures carrying cases, I think, in the world. They're like made of, it seems like bulletproof adamantium or something, but lightweight. They're amazing. You can see this one has been designed specifically as a Pathfinder case. It's got an awesome Pathfinder patch on the front. It's got a Paizo patch on the back. It fits like 3 hardcover books and a bunch of other notes and Pathfinder Society scenarios and things like that. It's got room for dice. It's got room for all kinds of fun stuff. And these things are trays that are made specifically to fit Pathfinder Battles miniatures, but any kind of standard gaming miniatures. When we first were approached by Battle Foam last year, they gave us a couple samples, and I said, okay, well, I've never used a super duper case like this before. I'll show you these things if you haven't seen. Look at this thing. This is enormous, right? So I was like, oh, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll use it at PaizoCon. I'll put my minis in there, and maybe it's good. I'm still using that bag. I've never not used that bag from that point on. So the Battle Foam bags are absolutely, absolutely amazing. If you come to the Pathfinder Society special tomorrow night, we are going to be giving away 2 of the bags there to some lucky people who are playing the game. They're also going to be coming out at Gen Con, so you can pick them up there as well. Battle Foam is pretty awesome. Another thing that's really awesome that I have a lot of personal excitement for is our Pathfinder comics line that we're doing with Dynamite Entertainment. Has anyone read the Pathfinder comics? Yeah! They've just recently released the volume 3 in hardcover, City of Secrets, which is written by Jim Zub, who was one of our guests here at PaizoCon a couple years ago. And it's really, really well done. And currently on store shelves right now is a new series called Pathfinder Origins. Jim is getting really, really big and writing for Marvel, and he's got his comic Skull Kickers, which is really popular. So he wasn't available, so they wrote me and they said, hey Eric, do you know anybody who might want to write a Pathfinder comic? And I said, do I? How about me? And how about Wes? And how about James Sutter? And they said, great. So Pathfinder Origins is written by the editorial staff, or some of the editorial staff who are behind the Pathfinder campaign setting, behind the products that you guys get. What I've been hearing from a lot of the readers is that it really shows, and that it really feels like the stories are at home at Pathfinder. Whenever I have a bad day, by the way, I have to say, and I'm like, oh man, it's working in a game company is great, but it's still work. I have to remind myself that I can get other companies to draw our characters stabbing giants in the head, which is pretty rad. Speaking of pretty rad, have you guys seen this thing? Oh my god! Oh my god! So this thus far is the closest that we've been able to do to bioengineering our own life-size goblins. This is a vinyl goblin bank that's been put out by Diamond Select Toys. We have this in the store right now. It just came out. It's been very, very, very popular. It's sort of adorable and terrifying all at the same time. It holds about $1.35, so it's a great bank, but it's an even better statue. So if you want to adorn your bookshelf or your daughter's crib or something, the Pathfinder Goblin is a really, really great gift for the whole family. Available $29.99 in the store. Okay, so that's like a maxiature, if you will. So let's talk a little bit about miniatures. The Pathfinder Battles line is another one of those things that every once in a while I have to pinch myself to realize that the greatest power I have in life, my superpower, if you will, and the superpower of all the Paizonians here, is to come up with something in your brain and then write a description of it and then have a brilliant artist draw it and then send it to WizKids and have it manifest in 3 dimensions in your hand. It's kind of hard not to feel like Galactus when that happens. And so, if you follow my every Friday blogs on Paizo.com, and I hope you do, we've been previewing the next set, which comes out in June, which is called Dungeons Deep. We're very excited about that. In fact, the shipment just arrived in the Paizo warehouse a couple days ago. They look absolutely fantastic. I'm absolutely, I'm going to say absolutely one more time, thrilled about how they turned out. WizKids just keeps improving and improving. So I thought it'd be really fun to reveal what the next set is after that. This set will be coming out in the fall, and this is one that we've been working on for quite some time. And the set is going to be called The Rusty Dragon Inn. Oh, the Rusty Dragon Inn. So we've just spent a whole set focusing on dungeons and monsters, and of course no set will ever not have monsters in them, but we thought it would be fun to create a set that can populate what happens when you come back from the dungeon and go into town. Based on the sales of Flip Mat Taverns, y'all do a lot of fighting in taverns, right? So, who knew? Like, by the way, the Doubletree would like to ask you guys not to fight in the tavern. So in this set, we've got miniatures that will be right at home while you are slaughtering the innocent, including the serving girl. So this is based off of Wayne Reynolds' illustration on the front of the MPC Codex, and she is awesome. Another friendly face at the Rusty Dragon Inn is this little guy, the merchant. He's a little bit roly-poly. He's got kind of a fun mustache, but I'm not sure you want to drink what he's trying to sell you. And in case he's trying to sell you something illegal, we have the City Watch Commander here as well. Her outfit matches some of the previous City Watch figures that we've done in the past. She is based off of a character who's appeared both in the comics and in some of our adventures from Magnamar, whose name escapes me at the moment, but we like to call her City Watch Commander. Yes, Cassidy. Yes, Cassidy. Okay, so there's a bunch more. There's a bunch more awesome bystanders and merchants and things like that. Guards, but I can't really do a miniature set without stuff that you really actually want to fight and kill. And so in the Rusty Dragon Inn, as we've done in several previous sets, in addition to kind of the onesies and twosies of different monsters that we want to throw in there, we kind of pick a specific type of monster and give you 3 or 4 different characters within that monster type. And that really, from my perspective as someone who uses miniatures every time I play, that really allows you to add some variety to encounters and spice up encounters more than just saying, well, the one I put a red dot on is the leader, or whatever. So in the Rusty Dragon Inn, the races that are getting significant attention, we'll start with bugbears. This is the Bugbear Tyrant. You do not want to meet the Bugbear Tyrant. That blood on his sword could be that of your player characters. So there's about 4 or 5 different bugbears in the set. Another race in the Rusty Dragon that is so awesome. One of my favorite races, for whatever reason. Ghouls. Love ghouls. So this is the Ghoul Champion. He is the most badass ghoul in the set, but there are several others. So I was just looking on a thread on Paizo.com. It's always super helpful when people who are collecting the miniatures make suggestions about, I'd really like you to do this, I'd really like you to do that, I'd really like you not to do this. And they were talking about case incentives the other day. That's the limited edition, super duper large figure that we put out with each set, and it's really, really special. And we've done a number of different ones. We've done a couple of demons, we've done a bunch of dragons, and this thread, there were a few people on there saying, let's maybe not do a dragon this time. And I thought, yeah, I know, believe it or not, right? And so I thought, okay, so no dragon, all right. What could we do that would be an appropriate thing in a bar? And then I thought to myself, well, one of the coolest things that people have been responding most positively to about the Dungeons Deep set is the introduction of a type of figure that we call dungeon dressing. These are, in the case of Dungeons Deep, we've got chests, and we've got burning braziers, and we've got sarcophagi, and things that are really, really important to the dungeon setting. So all of the dungeon dressing in the Rusty Dragon Inn is appropriate to an inn, and you can probably guess some of the things that might entail. But one you might not be able to guess is in fact going to be the case incentive for the Rusty Dragon Inn. The set is about a bar after all, so we decided to give you the bar. So, fully stocked miniatures collection until you have a fully stocked bar miniature. Okay, so that's a whole bunch of previews. We are going to get to some exciting stuff in the future. I'm going to ask Lisa to come back up and talk a little bit about Pathfinder Online, but there's a couple of things that we do every year that I want to get to first because they're super, super important. I'll start with the secondarily important one. And I'd like to kind of bring the mood down a little bit here, because although PaizoCon is a time of joy and we're all very happy, it can also sometimes be a time of senseless slaughter. I would like to have a moment to recognize any characters who have been killed this weekend. Could you raise your hand if you've played a character who has died here at PaizoCon? Okay, I see some over there, very sad. So let's just have a moment of silence for the dead. Okay, thank you. We will miss you, you will be missed. Can I just have, by show of hands, the number of GMs who have murdered a player character here? Can I have a huge round of applause for the people who... Whether you are a dead character or a murdering GM, we will not forget you. We will never forget. Now I would like to talk a little bit about our annual Volunteer of the Year award. We have a plaque that we like to give out every year to the folks who have gone above and beyond working on behalf of Pathfinder and behalf of Paizo. Many, many times it's been top volunteers in the Pathfinder Society campaign. It's been folks like Tim Nightingale who founded PaizoCon. One more quick, fast round of applause for Tim. Thank you, Tim. This year, because we just got some samples of the awesome battle foam case that I held up a minute ago, in addition to giving the plaque to the Volunteer of the Year Award recipients, I'm also going to be giving them a battle foam bag that they can use to carry miniatures. So as a way of just saying thank you for all that they have done for Pathfinder. This year we have 2 recipients of the Volunteer of the Year Award. Unfortunately, only one of them could be here today, so he will have to accept on behalf of both of them. The winner of the the recipient of the 2015 Paizo Volunteer of the Year Award, and I don't think they know this, are the hosts of the No Direction podcast. Interviewing a number of the staff and the freelancers who work so hard on Pathfinder, and in addition to talking to fans about the stuff they like about the game, Ryan and Jefferson J. Thacker, who couldn't be here today, have recorded more seminars than anybody. They put that stuff online for you guys all to enjoy again if you've been here, but maybe more importantly, to check out if you couldn't make it to the show. So, I don't know, Ryan, if you want to come up and say anything, but I'm going to hand you a plaque and a bag, so come on down! Handsome man, ladies and gentlemen. I just got a hug. Okay, Ryan, you want to say anything? Please.
Pathfinder is awesome.
That I've just handed Ryan and the plaque that we'll be sending Jefferson. We have this plaque which is up at Paizo itself with all the different recipients of the award. So you guys will always be a part of Paizo, and we can't thank you enough. But I'm going to try by giving you a free miniatures bag from Battle Foam. Thank you, Ryan. We're getting closer to bar time, everyone. Yeah! Before that happens, I would like to bring our founder and CEO back up, Miss Lisa Stevens. I hope she likes this picture better. I sure do. Lisa, come on up!
That's a little better. Say, you know, maybe I should put my character from Pathfinder Online up there. Anyway, because that's where I've been spending a lot of my time lately, online. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Pathfinder Online. It's something that last year at PaizoCon, we weren't even in alpha playtesting at this stage. And in the course of the last 11 months, the team at GobbleWorks has just done a crazy, incredible amount of work. We've gone through all the alpha testing. On January 1st of this year, we opened the game up live to players. It's now running. Everything in the game stays in the game. It's persistent. We're adding stuff at an incredible pace. Every 3 to 4 weeks, we add more content to the game. It's getting developing and getting richer. But rather than just telling you about that, I was going to show you a little video we put together about a month ago, just to kind of show you some way to hear that. See if Eric did that.
Sounds like a challenge. And it appears to actually be a challenge. Okay, this is the one, yeah? Hey, what happened to the volume? Oh, yeah. I'm not good at this, you guys. No, it's not working. Isn't it look good, you guys? It's so amazing. Yeah. Who's an AV nerd who wants to come up here and help me? Oh, Jason ruined it. That's right. I broke it.
That's where you show up like me.
Can't even blame the drinking yet.
All right. Let's see if this works. Please, God. Hey!
Talk while he works this stuff. So, anyways, we've come a long way since last year, and right upstairs in Cascade 1, we're running demos of the game as it currently is live on the server right now. All of of you were given free passes in your goodie bags that we gave out. So there's free 15-day passes to come try the game out. If you like it, we're cutting the price in half to keep playing, so you can get into the game. We have an amazing staff. I want to helping everybody upstairs. I want to introduce there's some people in the game that wanted to really help players out and help players get acquainted. They basically call themselves Pathfinder University. They dedicate a lot of their time and efforts to making Pathfinder a really cool experience for new players, and they're hanging out back there. Did you guys stand up, Pathfinder University? They plus a bunch of other people that aren't here literally give, they're on the line pretty much almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, I get online at 4 a.m. in the morning, and there'll be someone from Australia asking questions, and they're online answering. And so for a volunteer organization, you know, they follow in the great spirit of the Pathfinder Society Venture Officers, who also give a lot of their time. So thank you guys for doing that. Speaking of the Venture Officers, they have all been invited into the game, and as of a couple days ago, 172 of them are now in Pathfinder Online and playing from all over the world. So if you have a local Venture Officer, they're also got buddy accounts to give out and stuff like that, and they're in the game causing havoc. Our Resident Evil settlement in the game, Golgotha, had the highest praise for them, saying they're some of the most bloodthirsty people I've ever seen. So you know, when they scare the evil guys, that's always good. And I had a couple new things I wanted to announce here at the convention for Pathfinder Online. First of all, we like to, as you know, at Paizo, we like to recognize people who came in and support the company early, and we have our charter subscriber tag for people who came in and supported Pathfinder before you even saw the book. Well, we're going to be doing something in a similar vein for Pathfinder Online. We're doing it's called the Veteran Reward Program, and starting maybe as early as the next patch, we're going to be giving special magic items in the game each month to people who are playing the game. So each month, for every basically month you play the game, you'll get what we're calling Aslanti crystals. You guys might know them as Iron Stones. And these Aslanti crystals are, as you know, give you little bonuses and stuff like that. Well, the cool thing about them is you're going to get a number of them, and then later on you're going to get special recipes that will allow you to combine these stones and make more powerful stones. And throughout the course of years, you will be able to combine more and more of these things into cooler things. So this is going to be something that's going to be happening as soon as probably the next patch, if Mark has his way. And it's kind of a way for us to say thanks to people who are in the game right now supporting us as we build a very unique world and game system that's player-driven, player-built. Everything in the game pretty much is built by players. If you saw my character upstairs, my armor, my sword, my shield, everything was all created by a character in the game. It wasn't given off by some big, loot from a boss drop or something like that. And the community that's building Pathfinder Online is one of the coolest communities I've seen since the Paizo.com board. So I'm very, very proud of them. One last thing to talk about, another announcement I want to make, and I'm going to do a little teaser in a second. Starting in EE10, which anybody's in the game knows what EE means, early enrollment. It's our patches are by numbers, and so EE1 was when we announced, when we released it in January. So EE10 is our 10th patch, and we're going to start doing server-wide events every month. These server-wide events are going to be special events that everybody will participate in the game, and it's gonna, each event, if you participate, there will be unique loot drops that will only ever be available in those events. They're not going to be, super powerful, but for instance, it might be the invasion of the Crimson Archers, and you might be able to get a crimson bow that you won't be able to buy or make or anything. It'll just be, and so sometime in the future, someone will see that bow and say, you were in that Crimson Archer event that happened 3 years ago. And it'll be a cool little token to show that you were there. And our first event's going to happen with launch of EE10. A lot of people in the game know that we have this thing called War of the Towers in the game. It's going away when EE10 goes, and we decided rather than just having them go away, we're going to make it into a cool event. So we have a video. Okay. Those of you who played in Emerald Spire dungeon that we did for the Pathfinder Online Kickstarter might recognize Narathamon, Eric Mona's evil creation. Yeah, he's going to have a little fun with the entire server, and it's going to... I'm hoping there's going to be lots of husks. And if you play the game, you know what that means. Husks is when you die, you leave a husk. So, yeah, so it's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with this, and it's going to come probably, at EE10, whenever that happens. We never give exact dates, but, it's probably in 6 to 8 weeks. So, anyway, that's Pathfinder Online. I encourage you to check it out. I've tried to make it as easy for you to come check it out. I know a lot of people in this room, I know a lot of you guys from Pathfinder Online. I'm in the game, so... you can whisper Laura Thoron, that's my character, and I'd be more than happy to go adventuring with you. And yeah, that's it. So, Eric, take it away.
All right, thank you, Lisa. And so if you want a chance to check out Pathfinder Online, the first couple of Cascade rooms upstairs, they will continue to be there throughout the PaizoCon. And that brings us to the conclusion of the preview banquet here at PaizoCon. I want to thank each and every one of you guys, not just for coming to the banquet, but also for coming to the show. It kind of goes without saying, but there would be no PaizoCon if there were no Paizo fans. So thank you guys so much. Many of us will be adjourning to the bar. For those who are made of somewhat stronger stuff, stay tuned for the trivia contest. There will be a Paizo Pathfinder trivia contest. John Compton and the Maniacs and the Paizo editorial team have put together a challenging several rounds of trivia. I think it'll probably start about 10 minutes after we adjourn here. So there's going to be a prize. I think it's a gift certificate for every member of the table for Paizo.com if your table should be victorious. So if you think you know it all, stick around and prove it and get some free stuff. Thanks again for everyone. Thanks again for the Paizo staff for putting this thing on, for Jeff Alvarez for running the whole thing, for the Doubletree and everybody else. Thank you.